Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome to the Ultimate Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant. Thrilled, and more thrilled to be here with you and to experience another wonderful episode. Hope you guys are doing well. This is one of my favorite podcasts. Because manifestation has been something that I've been so passionate about over the course of, I want to say, the last 15 years. And I'm just so very happy and thankful and just appreciative that I've had the pleasure of not only getting the opportunity to read or to manifest wisdom upon the subject, but to learn from some really, really awesome and wonderful people as it relates to the topic of manifestation. And so today's topic ties right into that, and it has to deal with thoughts. But what I want to offer you right now before we get into that is if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you want to correspond with me with, please send me a message at seang04@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Busy times here. Just bought a new home. Something to get happy about, manifesting that. And life has been really good of late, but I'm happy to get back to rolling along and just sharing the wisdom that's imparted upon me from a spiritual standpoint. But yeah, if you want to use that email, please do so. If you know me personally, you can always send me a text or a DM or whatever it is, wherever you are. So with that being said, welcome everybody from all around the world. You guys have been great. I think we've had people from South Africa. We've had people from Australia, England, all these places. You guys are absolutely terrific. And my plan is to continue to bring you some really, really phenomenal content. So I'm happy to do that. So let's talk about today, right? The master key, thought power, using it to transform your life. And so I got this episode, the idea of this episode. I'm reading the Master Key book for the second or third time, I think. The Master Key by Charles Haanel. If you don't know, if you hadn't heard that book before, I want you to look it up. It is by far one of the greatest, AKA quote unquote, law of attraction books out there. But it's also really good because it really teaches you the power of the mind. And, it has just changed, not just changed, but transformed my life in so many different ways by helping me to understand the power that I have as it relates to my thoughts and the power that my thoughts have as it relates to transforming my life and doing the things that I really choose to do. Once again, if you know me on a personal level, you know that I've been blessed to be able to do a lot of different things with my life. And the reality behind that is it started in my thoughts first. It started in my own consciousness, which is my thoughts, my feelings, my beliefs, and stuff like that, in case you're unaware. And I've just been able to go at it, and it from being a Hollywood actor to writing multiple books to starting my own podcast, as you're here listening, to being one of the top fitness trainers in Los Angeles, being a renowned speaker, creating a dynamic course on money, which is something I'm so proud of. So anyway, not even really to toot my own horn, so to speak, but, excuse me. Sorry, I had to yawn there for a second. But those are examples that just goes to show you what thought power can do when it's used effectively. And today I'm going to show you how to use your thought power effectively, okay? And sort of debunk some myths here that we've encountered over the course of our lives, or even during the time that we've been acclimating ourselves and assimilating these truths as it relates to thought power and the law of attraction and all. So let me just get right into it. So when it comes to thoughts, And we understand, as we've been saying, thoughts are spiritual in nature, mental in nature. Now, you want the thoughts that are spiritual in nature. And the reason why I say spiritual in nature, because those are the thoughts that carry the most charge. All right. A while ago, I heard something so powerful that still resonates with me today. It says, thoughts are electric, emotions are magnetic. Thoughts are like the spark plug in an engine that create the charge. And when the thought is strong enough, it'll create an emotion. And that emotion is what will magnetize whatever it is that you're attempting to manifest. Okay. That's true thought power, right? Thoughts are electric. Emotions are magnetic, or feelings are magnetic. You could sort of say, because once you get the feeling, is as Reverend Ike used to say, feeling gets the blessing, which is a really powerful thing. But what I want to distinguish for you now is, so you may have heard the saying that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. And a lot of times those are just you picking up input from the energy around you. Everything has a consciousness, right? Everything from the trees, from the plants, from the objects, everything is carrying a consciousness. And what that means is that everything has a signature energy, which it gives off. You ever just been in a place and it just feels so expansive and it feels so good and you feel like you're right at home? It feels like yourself. That place is giving off an energy, right? It's giving off a consciousness. And vice versa, when there's places where you say, I just can't stand it here, I just don't know why I'm here, that place gives off a certain energy. Now, when it doesn't resonate, it's in our highest good to get away from it. But when it does resonate, we find ourselves going back to it more and more and more, which is really remarkable in every single sense of the word. So, as I was saying, though, when it comes down to thoughts, we want the spiritual thoughts. We want the thoughts that are spiritual in nature. And what I mean by that is, if we have 60,000 thoughts and we're just picking up random stuff like, what am I going to eat for lunch? Or I had this for breakfast, or, oh, there's too much traffic. These are thoughts that don't really have much power. Okay. These are thoughts that don't really have much power. We want the thoughts that resonate from a spiritual nature, but also the thing is with the spiritual thoughts, they allow you to concentrate. And when you concentrate on a thought that is already powerful, it begins to create a feeling. I'll give you an example for this. So I have a deep spiritual religious background. And for me, a lot of phrases in the Bible, a lot of scriptures in the Bible carry a really strong spiritual thought powered charge with it. And, how do I know this? Well, from experience. Sometimes so I can tell you when I used to struggle with supply, the concept of supply, of having more than enough, of having more than abundance. I used to say to myself, God in me is my infinite supply of abundance under grace in a perfect way every day of my life. Right. And so now you may have felt something when I said that, and you may not have, but the reality is when I said it, my hair stood up on my entire body, all over my skin. It stood up. Why? Because that thought is rooted in a spiritual nature, and it is charged, right? It is charged up spiritually and with feeling, right? It comes from a spiritual truth, right? Which already, it's almost like having a Ferrari, right, in your garage, and then finally getting the keys, sticking the keys in the ignition and just taking off. You begin to see how much power you actually have at that point. This is the exact same way. Now, let's say, even though this is a spiritual based podcast, let's say you're not a spiritual person. What do you have to do? Well, you got to find something that is still, because when we say spiritual in nature, all we mean is of the universe, of the divine, of a higher nature, right? Because these are the energies of the vibrations that are going to move way faster than something on a lower level, like say mental or physical, right? Because I can say, let's say for instance, instead of me saying, God in me is my infinite supply for everything under grace in a perfect way every day of my life. Instead of me saying that, I just said, I am rich. I am rich. Now, at one point, I am rich did it, right? But then there was no substance to it, right? Or something along the lines of, I have more than enough, right? It just depends on what that means to you. So once again, if you're not of a spiritual nature, you've got to find what type of thought power is rooted in spiritual truth, right? Meaning of universal truth. I should probably say that, of universal truth that will create that feeling within yourself. Because once again, thoughts are electric. Feelings are magnetic. When the thoughts are created, what's going to happen is it's going to start to create feelings. And when the feelings are there, it's going to sow the seed powerfully. All right. So once we've had the opportunity to really understand what moves us, right? If we have all this power, right? We have all this power. And the power comes in our ability to focus and the ability to take our attention and concentrate on something that is really near and dear and true to us. You're going to sit still. Okay. And right now, like I said, I'm getting chills right now because I'm going to give you an exercise here. Let's say that you take an area of your life. I'm going to show you how to really make this work. Take an area of your life. Let's say for all shits and giggles, you're wanting a new career, right? You want more money into your life. It doesn't seem like it's happening. So the first thing you're going to do is just kind of take a deep breath, take a few deep breaths. And you're just going to sit with yourself and you're going to ask, right? Because it's always about asking the empowering questions, right? And you want to just ask yourself, what is the root cause of me not having the career that I choose to have? You can ask a question like that. And the reason why that's such an important question is because what that does so powerfully is it allows you, it allows you to be in this space where your subconscious mind is going to reveal to you what's getting in the way. And you may hear something immediately pop up like, you lack confidence, you lack self-esteem, you're in the wrong job, you're in the wrong area, you need to be working for yourself. It's very, very viable that you might get an answer just like that, and it comes as quick as possible, right? And once you do, then you got to start thinking about what you do want, because here's the thing. Your concentration and your attention has so much power in it. Your focus has so much power in it. So you go from, okay, what's the root cause? Once I find the root cause, okay, I need to find a new job or I need to speak up more. Then I begin to focus. I delve deep into myself and I find a spiritual thought, right? If I'm having trouble with confidence, for me, I will say something like, I can do all things through the Christ consciousness within me, right? I can do all things. God in me is my unlimited power to do all things great and strong, or whatever it is. Like, you got to really see what resonates with you. And when you get that statement, you're going to breathe nice and deeply. You could even touch your heart or your solar plexus area, because that's where the power begins to generate. It's the cerebral spinal system where the electricity begins to formulate itself and to create the feelings that's going to produce the thing that you want. And let's make it real simple for you, right? I have the greatest career that promotes balance, joy, and excitement in my life. I have the greatest career that promotes balance, excitement, and joy in my life, right? And so I'm going to give you a coaching cue here. If it's not creating goosebumps, you got to turn around. You got to move to something else, right? But the moment it makes your hair stand up, you know you've hit something, and you can stick with that. And you just focus on it. And you don't have to understand the most powerful things in the world are spiritual, which is a soft noticing and observation that's taking place. Nothing more than that. Okay? A soft noticing and observation, a focus, a soft focus. Not repeating mentally over and over and over again. No, don't do that. Say the statement, right? Say it with feeling. I have an amazing career that promotes balance, excitement, and joy every day of my life. And when you say that and you focus on it, it's all of a sudden starts to create these feelings. And your thought power becomes empowered and ignited to begin to start to manifest itself. And here's how it's going to manifest itself right away. You ready for this? It's going to manifest itself through like thoughts, right? Esther Hicks Abraham talks about how if you hold that thought for 17 seconds, right? Or I think it's 60 something seconds or whatever. But anyway, just hold it there. And when I say hold it, hold a soft focus, hold a soft notice, right? Whatever you recognize, you energize, and then allow it to create similar thoughts. And here's the beauty of life. What we think about for the longest time, what we think about over time with feeling, with charge, right, is going to be the very thing that manifests itself into our lives, right? I used to talk about all the time about being a big time actor and fame and all this other stuff and whatever and whatnot. And eventually it began to happen because when I would talk about it, I would have so much feeling charged up with something that was coming from the deepest part of my heart, which is a spiritual thought, right? When it comes from the soul, when it comes from the being, the deepest part of the being, it's spiritual in nature, which means it has the ability and power to transcend whatever obstacles may arise. You see what I'm saying? So when you find that one thought, and it's a great idea to just write a lot of these down, because I'm telling you, it will empower you to move past anything that has ever stopped you before. And the reality is nothing is ever stopping you. The only thing that's ever stopping you or stopping us is ourselves. And all that is because everything is thought out pictured, right? Everything is manifested thought. All we need to do is go within ourselves and see where we've thought in a faulty manner and correct it, right? If I don't have the career I want, well, guess what? I can now affirm with feeling, with conviction, that I have the career that I want. Done deal, right? Just as easy as that. And when I spend time and focus on it, when I begin to hold this thought, let's say the optimal time is when I'm really tired or before I go to bed, guess what happens? That thought begins to create similar thoughts, and those similar thoughts begin to create a feeling. That feeling begins to create manifestation because it's taking it to the universal mind. And from the universal mind, your subconscious, it's creating exactly what it is that you want in that regard. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch unfold. So in wrapping up here, what we've got to know is, how are we using the power of our thoughts, right? Like when we wake up in the morning, are we telling ourselves, isn't it wonderful? I'm going to have the very best day of my life. I'm about to be so blessed and I just love it, love it, love it, love it. Or are we saying the opposite? Oh my God, I just hate getting out of bed. I just want to put the covers over my head. I hate having to deal with this person. Like, you're in control, right? And you control your life with your thoughts first, with the feelings you produce, and then the emotions that follow. So you can choose to take the higher resonant vibration and make life whatever you want it to be. That's the power of thought. That's the master key, right? Once we know this, the impossible becomes possible. Everything, every limitation that we once had no longer stands in our way because we have gotten out of our own way and we've let go of the resistance. And I'm telling you, it is going to be a magical experience. But it starts with the thoughts, realizing that the thoughts you need are spiritual in nature, which means that they're of the universe, of a universal mind, of a divine capacity. They carry a really truthful, strong, very fast energy, which can move, can exceed time and space. That's the beauty of spiritual thoughts, right? Once you tap into those, you begin to see life transform really quickly. And this is all yours. All you need to do is access it. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. If you have any questions, please write to me at SeanG04@gmail.com. We'll get back to you as soon as I can. Other than that, have a wonderful night, wonderful morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And thank you for all of your support. It's very, very appreciated. We will talk soon. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.